please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Sure. Lori Borgel.
Here.
Kelsey Cook.
Here.
Maureen Hellman is absent. Allison Kemp.
Here.
And Ashley Ross.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. I move to excuse Maureen Helmuth from this evening's council meeting. Second. Motion made by Cook, second by Ross. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nay? Motion carries. Okay. Number 4, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to remove item 8B and move it to January, so that Brian can be here for the meeting next month.
Perfect. I'll second that. Motion made by Ross, seconded by Cook. Any discussion? All those in favor of amending the agenda to remove 8B, postpone that until January? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nay? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next is a presentation of our financial statements fiscal year end and our audit presentation.
So I believe Terry passed out PowerPoint slides for you guys to follow along. Does anyone have a copy of the bound audit report, or are you all just following along with the PowerPoint slides? Slides. Okay, that sounds easier. I just want to make sure because I would reference page numbers. So anyways, my name is Kevin Kozenflik. I'm an auditor at Gabridge & Company. I'm in charge of the Village Boxford audit. So first and foremost, it was great working with Terry in the village. It was great working with Kelly and Clay Moran and everyone else involved with the audit process. Thank you all for being flexible and scanning in the audit documentation so we can perform the audit remotely. We greatly appreciate that. So the next slide you'll see is the village's opinion. We gave them an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance the village could receive on an audit. So I definitely give yourself a pat on the back for that. 3 very large things to note also. There were no internal control deficiencies noted during the audit. There were no budget deficiencies noted during the audit, and there were no deficit fund balances. Now flip with me to the next slide. These are the financial highlights for the village. So a couple things to point out. The village's fund balance across all funds as of June 30th, 2022 was roughly $2.3 million, which increased $753K roughly. General fund ending fund balance as of June 30th, 2022 was $1.56 million, an increase of roughly $756K. And unassigned fund balance was $1,554,036, and this is approximately 75.2% of annualized expenditures and transfers out. Now, the GFOA recommends anywhere from 17 to 25%, and if you flip with me to the next slide, you'll actually see a visual depiction of this ratio increasing for the village all the way dated back to 2019. So for one, they're well ahead of the GFOA's recommendation, and 2, you'll see it steadily increasing over the past few years. So that's just a sign of good fiscal accounting practices by the village. So again, just something to hang your hat on. Flip with me to the next slide. These are the comparative statements of net position. Just a few things to point out on this statement. Cash increased roughly $911,000. It was primarily a result of the increase in net position, which was $1.3 million. The village had a significant amount of capital assets purchased during the year, which caused an increase in net capital assets of $156K. Flip with me to the next slide. These are the comparative statements of activities. Just a few more things to point out on this statement. Capital grants and contributions decreased roughly $1 million during the year. This is a result of one-time capital contributions received last year from the state of Michigan and the DDA. Property tax revenues increased about $120K due to the village's increase in taxable value, and public works expenses decreased almost $300,000 due to a one-time resurfacing project in the prior year in the village's major streets fund. And the very last thing I wanted to point out is on the last slide, so flip with me. This is the schedule of changes in net pension liability, and just what I want to point out is it's gone from 59% funded to 69% funded over the past 4 years, steadily increasing, which is above the state's requirement of 60%. And the last slide just says, are there any questions for me?
Really quick.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sorry, it was short and sweet,
No,
but
that's
No,
all
that's
right.
great.
it's hard to elaborate on the financial audit.
I realize this is an enormous amount of work compiled into a very good PowerPoint, which I highly appreciate. And
Yeah.
so, excellent presentation, and thank you for
Great.
your support from us at the village, too.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you.
any questions from council? Comments?
Just based on your summary, it doesn't look like there's anywhere, just to ask, is there anything that you see that we need to change, do a little differently, or is it, we're just okay?
To be completely honest, just comparing you to like the rest of our audit clients, you're an A tier client. So controls are great, you utilize plant-oriented controllership services, which is excellent. I really can't think of anything. And being completely honest and transparent with you all, keep doing what you're doing.
Perfect.
So,
Great.
yeah. Anything else?
I would just like to say, he referenced Plant Moran, and that's something that, you know, Terry brought on years ago. It's worked well, Terry works well with Kelly, and it's a lot of work that she does in preparation for that with Kelly as well. So I think between the two of them, they really do good.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it makes the whole audit process a lot easier for everyone, so thank you.
Okay, great, thank you so
All right,
much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a safe trip home. He's
Yeah.
got a couple
Thank you.
hours around.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, too.
Thanks
Thanks.
Good job, Terry.
for making up all the remote work, and we can drive through this.
Yeah. So done well. All right, next is call to the public. Is there anyone who'd like to speak under public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. Items A, receive and file items.
Yeah.
Anybody want to take a stab at it?
I'll make a motion to receive and file items 7A, 1, and 2.
Support.
Perfect. Motion made by Ross, supported by Bourgeois. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Motion carries. 7B.
Okay, I'll try. I will make a motion to approve items 7B, 1 and 2, including paying, and 3, including paying the bills, a total of $182,359.96.
Second.
Right, motion made by Bourgeois, seconded by Ross. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Bourgeois,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and Helmut is absent.
Motion carries, thank you. Moving on to item 8 on the agenda, unfinished old business. 8A is our PUD project update at 32 East Burdick. I know we did get an update from Mr. Medor. You're in contact with Mr. Weckel, who's here tonight. Personally, I saw the fence, which was really nice to have done by this meeting already, so I appreciate that. Mr. Weckel, would you like to come up to the podium and give us your update? I appreciate you attending the meeting.
Well, you want to start on the building or the parking lot?
Let's go with the building.
Well, the building, all right. Well, things that have been completed since our last meeting was the caulking and of the control joints and of all the windows. Which doesn't sound like much, but it's very extensive. That's completed, except for the windows are not in. Our windows, our glass for the first floor is being delivered next week on the 28th. That's when it'll be shipped. When it'll be installed, I don't know. Depends on the weather. We can't install if it's real cold and windy out, but it'll be installed as quickly as we can. And the doors are also ordered. Those won't be here till the end of January, first part of February. The metal did show up. It's all on the third floor, ready to go up. We've got the balcony handrails and pickets are all up there. So there's a lot of work now that we could do on the building itself, so we have the materials. Probably the most exciting thing, for me anyway, is the drawings have been completed for the build-out on the first floor. So they're going out to bid, and I hopefully be starting in January. So that'll be a good thing. Going over to the parking lot side, you may have noticed we did get a shadow box fence installed, and Mr. Mosier was very happy with that, and it looks good. It, I think it does what he wanted it to do. And then probably more importantly is the garage has been emptied out, so it's ready for demo. Don't have a date for it, but I know it won't be Friday. But very well could be next week. We had some equipment failure. This cold is a little tough on my older equipment. My reservoir in my dump truck cracked, and it doesn't hold hydraulic fluid anymore, so I gotta see if I can get a replacement. It's cheaper to get a new reservoir than a new dump truck. The parking lot, I met with the contractor, and we've got a few things that we're gonna try to do yet before the end of the year, but you probably won't even know that they're done. There's just things that were loose ends that weren't completed before, but they, we've got it all worked out with the engineer and surveying company and the contractor that in April start on it and just go till it's got the base coat in on the asphalt. So it could be about, 4 weeks once we start. So that'll be a good thing. And it can be used all summer that way.
When do you expect to start paving?
Next year, April. Could be May. We have to wait for the frost laws. And that's part of the issue. Sometimes we've had years they don't even go on. I don't think that's gonna happen this year. We're gonna have frost laws. But
If I could just interject,
Yes.
Allison, kind of to your point, when Dave talks, he understands what he's talking about. Sometimes it leaves a little vagueness there. When he talks about that base coat being in, that's the base
oh,
coat
that is
of asphalt.
yeah.
So not just the aggregate and the curbing, but then the base coat of asphalt being, we said hopefully if he starts in April and after 4 weeks period, we said the base coat is in. That means it's blacktop, you can drive on it, park. It's just not the very top end coat on.
Correct. And that's basically it. That's what's happened since our last council meeting.
Any questions?
I have a couple questions. One, I've been driving by every few days, so I have noticed things happening, which is great. The fence looks good. You said the windows are going to be shipped the 28th?
Yeah,
Delivered to you,
De-
or,
delivered to us,
okay,
28.
that's the arrival date, to us, okay.
Yes, yeah. If it changes because of the weather, obviously I don't have any control, but that's the scheduled shipment date.
And one thing I think when you went through it earlier, when you said all the caulking's done for the windows and stuff, the window frames that they've been building out have been installed as well. So you see the frames now too. I went by there and just one day I happened to look and they were all in. I didn't even see them going in, and they were in, so.
Yeah, there's still one more to do. Well, actually, there's two on the tower on the south and one where the garage door is currently. And that window will be last because we need that access for equipment to go in there and do concrete work and the heavy stuff. Once that's done, then we'll have the block work. Close that off and it'll be a window opening the same size as the one adjacent to it.
Have you had any updates with the elevator?
Yeah, actually, I should, that's not on my list. We have, the electrical is completed for the elevator. Now, we're just waiting for the plumber to do his hookup of the sump pump. It's a little more than that sounds, it's a little more involved. But once that's done, then the elevator company will come back out and we'll start working on the elevator.
I've been pleased with the progress I've been seeing. I know I wasn't here last month, but I was watching, and so I think I've been seeing things. I know not everything is visual, and I know there's a lot of work that you've put in prior. So I think we're on the right path with all of us just staying in touch and getting
Yeah,
this done.
I'm not even sure, about like the stairways, for example, they've been done now for probably about a month. But that's not something you can see. And it actually was quite extensive to do that because of the weight, they were solid oak. And we had to use our machinery to go through a window and come up with lifts. And we had about 8 men on the job. And, it was quite an ordeal. It took us 2 separate days just to do the sets. Latings were already done. Those were the easy part, but the stairs themselves were quite difficult. So you don't have to climb a ladder to go upstairs.
My only hesitation, I'm glad that the drawings came from Valor, is just making sure that, that moves forward in some way, shape, or form, because that could just continue to delay us. And I know that's kind of out of all of our control, but if there's ways that we could be communicative to make that happen, because I think that's kind of been the big holdup right now before finishing that first floor, is getting that, so.
Well, yeah, but we still don't have any control.
Right.
That's private property. It's inside the building. I would say that the council has more control over the exterior than the interior. However, Valor Salon moves forward. I know she's anxious.
Well, right, I'm just saying that to make sure that it's closed up and everything's set, because it sounds like we're on track for what, like spring parking lot building-ish. Obviously, the
Sure.
inside is really none of our concern at this point, I would say, but I don't wanna keep delaying it in case there's delays on their end.
Well, I don't delay it on purpose, believe me.
Okay.
Yeah, and you get the windows in and stuff, that'll make that build out ready to go easier, I guess.
Well, it'll look a lot better. The windows, this time of year, if we close it off totally and pour concrete, we're gonna have a different type of problem. And I don't want that either. So I can't close it in entirely, but we're gonna put in the smaller glass panes. There's 4 panes per window, 4 sections, and we'll put in 3 of the 4. We'll leave one out for optional cement chutes. It's a pretty good sized building. You can't just get it all from one window or one door opening. It just doesn't work that way. And I don't think the concrete company would want to use a pumper for that situation either, because they don't have the advantage of gravity, coming up high and dropping it down. It all has to be pumped horizontal. And that's more difficult in the wintertime also, because it has a tendency to freeze up your lines, because there's water involved. So, I don't know. We're gonna do the best we can. We haven't even got to the point where the build-out contract has been signed to proceed with that. But we do have the drawings, which we've been waiting for. They actually came very quickly once we had another architect. She went through 3 architects.
I'm appreciative because I've seen the progress. I know Mr. Mosier's happy having the fence up. I just want us to keep on this path and just stay as in touch as possible so that, it's a win-win-win or a lose-lose-lose, so we want to all be the winners here, so
Sure.
if we can keep that going, I think we're in good momentum, even though it's winter, and I know there's things out of our control.
Sounds good. Any further questions for Mr. Whitcomb? Thank you. Thanks for attending.
Right, thank
again.
you.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations to Pete. I've known Pete a long time. His wife's here too.
Yeah.
He's a good man. I hate to see him leave, but I guess time does that to you, right? Right, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Yep.
The second unfinished business is our crosswalk consideration. So we've been talking about 2 different potential crosswalks, one at West Burdick and Pleasant, and then one on Pontiac Street near OES.
Yeah, and I think we had some rough numbers from the DPW, the chief, about what their cost might be to install the signs and stuff. The other cost we have to look at is when you're doing curb cuts and ramping down. And I was reviewing some of those costs for Hudson Burdick's work for Terry for her Act 51 MDOT report yesterday. So we have a rough idea what that can cost, so I may not have to use the engineers as much to get some numbers. and extrapolate some of those costs, say, all right, if we had to do that here, roughly what it would be, we can probably bring something to you guys, throughout the winter, so we're ready to maybe bid something out like that in the spring, if you feel that those costs are something you wanna expend.
Mhm.
And Chief Sewell couldn't be here tonight, I excuse me. Red Wing tickets.
Oh, yeah.
So, the one, we have to, he and I and the schools have to come to a little agreement on the OES part, what really is the best spot. Now, it might need a little direction from civil engineer type folk there to,
Mhm.
because of the driveway coming out of the church, which is the best way. Mike was concerned that the kids, I said, well, if you're only gonna drive them north 10, 15 feet to come across, I think they'll do it. If you tell me I go 100 feet up there to cross, they won't.
Yep.
But you can wait in that driveway coming out of the church, heading across the school, I think we have to move them 10, 15 feet north to make it safer
Mhm.
and user-friendly.
Question, why do we need to get them away from that driveway? Because that's where they're coming up for the most part right now. And nobody's using it at the times they're using it.
Well, I'm not sure the other side though. The other side, we're coming into another driveway, the exit drive of the school.
Okay.
And if you move 10 feet or so, just away from those driveways, I
I
think,
understand, thank you.
you know, it might be a little more cost now because instead of coming into a ramp or a driveway, you might have to have a curb cut, an ADA ramp, but that is safer to direct them up that than that apron of a exiting driveway.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree that one's a little more complicated.
Mhm.
The one at West Burdick and Pleasant, I just constantly see people running across in the dark. I mean, and it's usually right at
Yeah.
West Burdick and Pleasant, it's
Yeah.
just that intersection, and so,
And my only thought there is there a benefit to go north of, east of Pleasant or west of Pleasant? One brings it closer to this intersection, is that a problem? The other one's closer to the hill, is that a problem? So I might at least bounce it off the road, just say, is there anything I could account for here? You know, you should so many feet from the intersection, what, you know?
Mhm.
And then one of those, I don't know if it matters too much to those users, if they have to, which side they, Pleasant Street. If there's a preference, I'm not aware of one.
When, this individual crosses there, I tend to cross in front of Kelsey's house because there's a street light there.
Yep.
It hangs over, I
That's
guess
closer
it's not
to the hill,
exactly
though, yeah.
Kelsey's, it might be the
It
next
might be
house,
yours.
okay.
I'd say the west side, I mean, it doesn't.
West side would probably be better versus,
Well, there's still, because there is a crosswalk sign, there's not an actual anything just east of Pontiac. And people aren't using that, so if, and just,
right,
I mean-
so maybe the other way might make more sense,
Yes.
just west of Pleasant.
That's what I would like to see, I think
Yeah,
makes the most
I think
sense,
that
when
makes
people
most
are coming up and down Pleasant, they're heading Frosty Boy, or they're coming across the street right there to go back over to Pontiac.
Then they only
or
gotta have to cross
town.
one street too, versus
Yeah.
they cross, if they come from out of town, then that way they have to cross there and then Pleasant.
Right, so that's what, yeah, personally, that's what I'd like to see, that's right, I
Yeah.
just see so many people going across all the time, running with strollers and everything too, and then it's hard, they have to come into the road on Pleasant.
Yeah.
give all of this.
Yeah, up someone's driveway, which is either mine or my neighbor's, which is totally fine, but it would be
Yeah.
nice.
Like I said, if there's something that would be problematic as far as the dash door is concerned, or whatever, I'm like, okay, but if we don't have any concerns about it, then that makes the most sense to go.
Yeah, I feel like the hill, you've mentioned the hill, but I feel like it's pretty far.
Yeah.
It doesn't start really going down until after,
About my house.
yeah.
And it is a 25-mile-an-hour zone, so at
Yeah.
least keeps it down to 35.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or-
So, yeah, I'd love to move forward with both of these in the spring when we can, just because I think it would be a huge improvement
Yeah.
in public safety, and just walkability, especially with so many people coming down for all the DEA stuff. I mean, there's just a lot more people walking around.
Because that connects the coffee
You
shop,
think
that
the DDA
connects
should be paying.
the power there.
Tonight.
Yeah, with White Plain Coffee Roasters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Public parking's there for, overflow and whatnot.
It's always been even when Joe Prost was here, was concerned, how do we get people from Pine Trail or this way to get up to that Pine Trail access point, and then now you got the
Yeah.
coffee place there as well, when
Mhm.
Evergreen was up there too, it was a pretty common place for people to go to.
That would be good. Okay. So should we,
Leave it on, I would say leave it on, I can kind of bring some updates, January, February,
yeah,
and let you know I'm coming.
okay. Sounds good. Any further discussion on this item? we'll move on to new business, number 9. So we have our audit approval of financial statements. I don't see a resolution or anything for that. Is it just a general approval of our audit presentation?
Yeah, I don't think we've ever done a resolution in the past for that.
Okay. So I would move to approve the, let's see, financial statements for fiscal year end 6/30/2022. Support. Motion made by Cook, is that Cook support? Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would you like a roll call vote on that?
Sure. Borjo,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and Cook.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, moving on to 9B, boards and commission member appointments. All right, so I'm looking at our spreadsheet that has a lot of highlighted areas, so.
Those are all the 22s.
All the 22s, okay.
One vacancy on the VBA that's 24, because it's vacant, highlighted.
Okay. So if we go in order from top to bottom, zoning board of appeals is up first, and,
And can I speak to that real quick?
yeah.
I haven't reached out to Ms. Sardi or Dave Gerber about this, so I don't know if that's something that you.
I have in the past, but I did not this time
Okay.
either, so
So
should
should
we
we
wait, or just, we know they're doing a great job, and so we'll just.
Yeah, because here's the thing, same planning commissioners and zoning board of appeals, they're on until their appointment, or their replacement is even appointed, so even if they resign, they technically are still on until their replacement is reappointed.
Okay.
So you could reappoint them, and if
Mhm.
for some reason they decide to resign, then they could stand, they have not resigned,
Right,
so there's no reason for us to believe that they want off.
okay, we'll go with that, so.
That's a low ask.
Yeah,
That's true.
they meet once a year.
You don't get to get off.
Just to clean up this highlighting, so
Yes.
for the zoning board, I'll move to, let's see here, appoint Sue Basardi and Dave Gerber to the zoning board of appeals for the village of Oxford.
Oh, 2025 they're ending.
The term ending 2025, yes.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Cook, seconded by Ross, any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nay, motion carries. Congratulations. So planning commission, so we have,
Mo's on there now,
yep, I think she enjoys that.
and
Yeah,
I think she does too.
Can you put that away?
Planning commissioners, they're a 3-year term, the exception is a township rep or a village or council rep. They're on concurrent with their term of office. So
Okay.
she was at, her term of office ran out, and now she's a new term. So I think it's good housekeeping to reappoint her for this next 4-year term.
Yeah.
She would do that.
So I'll move to appoint Maureen Helmuth to the planning commission for a term ending. is it
November
30?
2026
Okay, November 2026.
will be her 4-year term.
Oh, I see, okay. Terminating November 2026. Thank you. All right, is there a second on that?
Then there's the
Support.
vacancy below,
Okay.
but anyways, okay.
Okay, so motion made by Cook, supported by Bourgeois. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nay? Motion carries. Congratulations. So there is a vacancy. So this one,
I don't know if we have any applicants.
no, so this might be something we can, in the new year, try to do some outreach on to
Okay.
see. I think there's some other.
Yeah.
Do we have a taker in the audience? Okay. So is the planning commission having any problems with getting a quorum, or their members are pretty good about
Pretty good,
attending?
we got it,
So-
yeah.
Okay, good. So I'll keep that vacancy in mind. If anybody knows anyone who may be
Yeah.
interested, please,
Some applications in, that'd be nice.
that would be great. Okay, so then next we have our council, at least on the list here, we have our council appointments for MML and SEMCOG. And currently, it's Allison Ashley for MML, Kelsey Laurie for SEMCOG. Does anyone request any changes on that, or do you want to continue with what we have?
I feel like we should stay with what we're at unless anyone else has thoughts, but if someone is going to the conference, we can switch it up because,
And I think that all you go to the conference is this is the voting delegate, is really what the difference
Yeah.
matters.
so, I mean, realistically, if someone's going to the conference and say Mackinac, I mean, someone else isn't gonna go and vote and then come home. So we can always switch it up if we need to.
Well, again, and if there's something at the annual conference, you all go to the conference and go to
Yeah.
classes and, you know, but only one of you is the voting delegate, and that's what this really pertains to.
Okay. Does anyone have interest in attending any other conferences, or you want to be the voting delegate?
No. I might,
Yeah,
yeah.
first, MML or SEMCOG, I know they both have annual meetings.
You should look up real quick.
I'll have to look them up.
What time?
Can I have a little time to
Yeah, can we,
see what the
Table that?
Yeah,
regular-
again, you know, once you determine who it is, I'll let them know, they'll be on the roster. It's not like anything next 30 days is gonna be pending.
okay,
I can't remember when their conference is coming up, but it's in the summertime, I believe.
I don't think it was September.
Yeah,
Yeah, like September,
There was one in
October.
September.
yeah, so nothing urgent.
okay, quick, can we postpone that then?
Certainly.
Do you want a motion to postpone, or that's fine, just adding it?
No action is fine.
Okay, no action is good. Okay, so beautification commission. We have, so Jan Burr, who's willing to serve again, so that's great. And then another member who's not able to.
Correct.
Okay, so we're just looking for another person who would like to
So,
be on the beautification commission.
yes, it's a 5-member commission, and it's through the charter. It's one of those strange old things. 3 must be from the village, so 2 of them can be from anywhere,
Okay,
right? So, and I believe all of these are in the village. I'd have to double check that to be sure, but Kathy Hummel's been doing it for a while as the chair, or president, chair, yes. She was one just last week when she was in Philly, and Ms. Ludwig could no longer do it.
okay,
But Jan Burr would be happy to be reappointed for a 3-year term, and then we could look for somebody perhaps for that vacancy. Again, anybody we know, Mrs. Schultz? These ladies seem fun.
maybe, Connie Ogg, and maybe I'll be able to, maybe I can talk to Connie.
Yeah,
That
she
she'd be
might
great
like
at
that.
that.
She'd be really good at that.
Connie, if you're listening, let me know.
I think they watch a few days later, so we're
Yeah.
gonna get a call soon.
So, yeah, but Ms. Burr could be reappointed.
Okay, yeah.
If you so choose.
That would be wonderful. So I'll move to reappoint Jan Burr to the beautification commission with a term ending, I believe that would be 2025.
Second.
Motion made by Cook, seconded by Ross, I think I heard. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any nays? Motion carried. And then, I'm probably making a lot more work for you, Terry, with all these separate
No,
motions.
that's
so- Okay.
Don't worry about that.
Well, yeah, you can't target them all together.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
is crazy.
Halian Trail Management Council, so right now Allison says that you'd like to continue.
I
to-
love the way it works right now, and here's why. I'm an alternate. I cannot be an officer. And today was elections, and they
Correct.
tried, but I had to remind them, the bylaws
They
said.
like getting whoever's newest to be the secretary.
Well, they were, I think they were almost appointed the to-be-determined new Orion Township person before they even showed up. They were gonna make that person treasurer, but then she was no longer there. But no, they did not tag you at all.
Okay, good, because,
But I like being the alternate member.
so,
because
if
then I can have an
anyone
officer.
else,
Yeah.
I would like to continue to serve unless anyone else, it's convenient for them.
I don't know who could be convenient for it.
Because and the problem is, it's such a hard, I have to like take off work essentially to, so I sometimes I can make it.
3 p.m. is tough.
It's a hard,
For working people.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I kind of like our system of I send Joe and then I slide in
Yep,
if,
that works.
if
And
time allows and.
that works, and again, Your schedule before was so much more flexible when you first started, you were able to make it,
Yeah.
right? And now you work normally those hours, so it's tough, but, they understand and they're happy to have me there in your place and so it's working.
happy to send you, John.
It sounds like unless there's no other interest, we'll keep the status quo on that one. So
Yeah.
how long is that term?
It says a biannual certification, it's really, it's their bylaws, so that we have to affirm it like at least once every 2 years.
Okay,
So I guess you could just,
I'll move to biannually certify Allison Kemp to the Pollyant Trail Management Council
as a member,
as a member.
and me as the alternate?
And, yep, Joe Medora as alternate.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion made by Cook, seconded by Joe. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And these ayes are kind of like timid
Oh.
ayes.
Forgot I needed to respond that time, sorry.
Just making sure we're good.
We're good.
Okay, so then we'll move down to the DDA, which seems to always be continued interest in the DDA, which is awesome, so thank you, Kelly. And let's look, we have, okay, let me find my way
Yeah,
here.
Mr. Clark was just appointed, but
But it ends already?
yeah,
Because he was, okay,
same thing with Grace.
okay. Kelly, do you want to come up to the podium, just give us a little guidance on these ones? Thank you.
I did mention that when I swore in both those individuals, that
They'd have
they
to,
would be renewed at
Okay.
the end of the year, so.
Yep, and I just checked in with both of them,
okay,
and they were excited to be renewed.
perfect.
And then same with Dorothy on there as well.
She would like to continue as
She would
well.
like to continue.
Okay.
So you group those three together.
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll do the vacancy after. So I will move to appoint to the DDA Bryce Clark, Grace Carey, and Dorothy Roberts Johnston, to 4-year terms. Ending 2026. To the Oxford Downtown Development Authority as members.
Second.
Motion made by Cook, seconded by Borjo. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Motion carries. Thank you. So we have an application for a new member in the vacant position that was vacated in April. And that is,
Yep, so Leanne, she serves on our promo committee and she has for about a year and a half now. Happy to say, never missed a meeting, and she always takes charge. So she was responsible for putting together the 5K and handling all that for the Scarecrow Fest, and has volunteered for pretty much every single event we've had in the last year and a half, even decorating downtown. So would love for her to serve the rest of that term, which is just 2 years. And the DDA board on Monday discussed it, and everybody was also in favor, so we would be happy to have her.
great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you. How do you pronounce her last name? Is it Knox?
It's Knox, yep.
Okay. Great. So I see, graduated from MSU, so go green.
That's the only problem, no.
They had this discussion on Monday too.
Who knew?
Yep.
Or not?
So I'll move to appoint Leanne Knox to the Oxford Downtown Development Authority as a member for a term ending, you said in 2 years, so that'd be 2024.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Cook, seconded by Ross. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And motion carries. Thank you,
you.
and welcome her for us. Great.
Can I just say it's awesome that so many people, you know, the DDA is so active and so many people are, you know, every time we have a vacancy, it's like we always have people
Yeah.
filling out, and I think that's just, it's amazing for our village.
Yeah, it says a lot. All right, so next is 9C. We have the resolution for managers' goals and objectives for 2023. This is proposed resolution 2022-16. I wanted to amend this resolution. I think it reflects what we discussed. Number 4, number 6 seem a little bit repetitive to me, so I would keep number 4, strike number 6, and as a new number 6, I wanted to add something about, we did discuss, more community outreach, particularly through social media, so maybe a focus on that for this next year, and attending if there's any kind of like conference or training or anything that would kind of be beneficial to you, Joe, that you might find, feel free to take advantage of that.
Someone mentioned Mackinac Island earlier.
I don't know, I was just-
Just saying.
in terms of 4, can we also add on, could we have an overview of like the year, what's coming up? For example, when CBG, yes, is coming up, and when contracts are renewing, so we kind of have an idea for like a long
Yeah.
view of what's happening instead of,
Yep.
sometimes it sneaks up on us the Thursday before and then,
Like a year at a
At a
glance.
glance, yeah.
Can I, sorry,
No, you asked that, I have another question.
can I ask a question, and this is partly because I missed, last month? It's my understanding we haven't made any motion on pay increases, and that it was, I don't know, what was discussed in closed versus open before I continue on.
Nothing was discussed in open session, and we actually
Okay.
didn't,
Yes.
Sorry.
I know Mo wanted to address any pay increases with the budget, and so that's a question I had too. I mean, it's the same, like,
That's
when,
not how we've ever done it, I mean, in the few years that I've been here.
no.
But also, we just received this glowing audit, we have 2 employees, we have a wild amount of inflation.
Mhm.
I was just curious, since we're kind of talking
You
about
can
all
make
those
that-
things.
Yeah, we can, I think maybe after we approve this resolution, we could make a motion for
Okay,
a cost of living increase. Would that be appropriate, Terry, to do?
Sure, that's your
okay.
You want to do that?
desire.
Okay.
Would that mean we go into closed and would we be able to do it today or would we do it?
We've always made the motion public, but I don't have any,
It wouldn't be anything for closed session, we
Yeah.
could just discuss
Okay.
it openly.
Okay,
I
So-
understood Mo's point though of discussing it in July, because I do think
that was my
when we're looking at the budget as a whole, it's easy for us, or it's easier for us to see the big picture and see how, like, how everyone's salary is lining up. Versus I feel like this one's kind of floating out there and,
Goes with their it goes with their authority,
Yeah,
as said.
it's-
Can we discuss that under
Sure.
after this?
sorry.
No,
I went
okay.
down.
So let me, on resolution to number 4, how you had, I put provide a year at a glance preview.
Yep.
Okay.
I did have one question then, is this the year we do contracts? That you
Yes.
start those?
The union contracts?
Mhm.
Yes, July, one of this year will start new contracts. So this spring, yes, we will start looking at those.
Is that something we should?
I do those as part of my, I guess maybe as part of my charter duties 1 through 8 might cover all that.
Okay, just wanna
And
make sure,
employee management and contracts, I think it's included in 1 through 8 already.
thank you.
Any other questions or requested modifications?
No, I like your modification, I agree with it.
Okay. So I'll move to approve proposed resolution 2022-16 with the 2 modifications, 1 to number 4 and 1 to number 6. Assuming the clerk has those. Let me know if you need me to
Well,
repeat anything.
clarification on number 6, did you say focus on, like, media/communications and, for the manager to attend a conference or training in those areas, or?
Yeah, I said community outreach and social
Okay.
media.
Or community outreach, social media is what I got.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a second on that?
Second.
So motion made by Cook, seconded by Ross. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
yes.
Rochelle?
Yes,
Cook?
Yes, motion carries, and resolution is adopted. So let's put do you wanna make a motion to get the discussion started, and we can always amend it?
I will make make a motion for, a 5% increase for our village manager. We wanna do it effective January 1, or, I don't remember what we're looking for, effective January 1, 2023.
I support that.
Okay, so there's a motion and support, so let's discuss that, so.
May I make a small adjustment no matter where you go? The first full pay period in January, this makes it easier for Vicky.
Yeah, first full pay.
It might be the 7th or 8th or whatever, but first pay period, so she doesn't have to prorate.
Yep,
I will amend my motion to say that.
Support.
okay. Any other discussion?
What's your base salary right now?
85. Once you guys made it a solid, easy number last year, it was easy to remember. All the percentages, it was always weird numbers, and it was like, I don't know, but now you made it a regular number, it was easy to remember.
Oh, the percent, we just messed that up again, so.
Well, no, but I mean, things, we had to do some adjustments.
Yeah.
Last year.
So 5% cost of living increase, is, I think, right on target. That's Oakland County provided to all of its non-represented members. It's, I mean, been studied, it's definitely valid, given the cost of living has been much higher than that. So I'm really comfortable with that. If there were any concerns on that. I know you brought up maybe, you know, kind of the difference between doing it with the annual reviews versus doing it during the budget time.
No, I suppose that I'm conflicted as well, because I do think it should go along with review. I feel as if when we do the budget, we look at the big picture. You know, we can really see the numbers and hash out the numbers then in terms of everyone instead of some people getting skipped. Because I know there was a long period of some staff members, their wages stayed stagnant.
Okay, years ago, the DPW, we had, last contract, we addressed that pretty well, I think,
Okay. And like office staff and whatnot. So.
yeah,
And I know we addressed that last 2 years ago.
yeah, 20.
Any further discussion or comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Porcello,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Just looking now. Okay, so move on to 9D. This is the proposed resolution for the clerk treasurer goals and objectives 2023. I did not have any amendments to this proposed resolution, did anyone? I'll move to approve, or move to adopt resolution 2022-13 for the goals, objectives, and duties of our village clerk and treasurer.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Cook, supported by Bordeaux. Any discussion on this resolution, or motion, I mean? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Ross,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Porcello,
Yes.
Cook.
Yes. Okay, motion carries.
I would like to make a motion to give a pay increase during the first full pay period of 2023 to our village clerk treasurer in the amount of 5% of her annual salary.
Support.
Motion made by Ross, supported by Bordeaux. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Cook,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Porcello.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. Next up is our proposed resolution for the Oakland County Parks Grant application.
Okay, I was waiting there for a minute, let me catch up. So, again, we thought we were gonna be applying for this by January, middle of January, but they pushed it out, it might not even be rolled out until February, even the applications. But I thought, well, I had this prepared already anyways, it talks about the signed the grant, when it comes to the submission of the grant improvements for $100,000, we talked about our 25% required match. Village of Oxford shall make the local match through financial commitment of cash, sports accounts, all those things. We've been budgeting for that. It's those capital improvement aspects we have already calculated in over there for the retaining wall and the pavilion. So this just basically gives me the approval to apply for that grant.
I'll move to approve resolution 22-14 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Cook, seconded by Ross. Any discussion, comments? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Bourgeois,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Cook.
Yes. Motion carries. Next up is our 2023 meeting schedule. This goes to Village Council second Tuesday. That's what we've had historically.
Yes. And for instance, on the CBA, we put no meeting on there, we just, it was holidays and stuff. And then sometimes it wasn't as clear, so we thought, well, we'll just highlight it on there. Well, it's in the end of July 30th is a CBA, like, again, they don't mean much, so.
I believe the Pollyant, they do have a December meeting. And if I'm correct, I did look today, there was no July meeting in 2022.
Right, they just
But that
proved that
might
today.
be-
They just proved that today, that they will be scrapped at the July meeting. They talked about bringing it back, but then today they said, well, if we bring it back, then we can cancel it. And I said, well, if we have it on, there, some people might not plan a vacation, if you're just gonna cancel it. So the consent was, let's just leave it off. So the Pollyant Trail will be, it was just approved today, so we'll update that, match their approved calendar, meeting calendar.
I'm gonna do the third Wednesday in December.
They actually have a December meeting on their schedule as well. So that'll be updated now that they approved theirs today.
Do we want to revisit moving our schedule?
No. I'm fine with it.
Sorry, did you say something on here needed to be revised?
The Pollyant Trail.
Just Pine Trail.
Yeah, and Cable Commission, I haven't checked on theirs, you know, Mo was not here, I know she attends, so I don't know, whatever the Cable Commission, again, you're basically adopting your schedule, these are else on there for
Just for
courtesy,
reference.
for
Okay.
reference, courtesy,
Gotcha.
right, so user assistance, beautification is really on these quarterly, so they're required to be quarterly, I should say. DDA, they approved their own,
Mhm.
but again, so the village council, ZBA, planning commission, are the ones you guys really technically approve. The others are on there for reference.
Okay. I'll move to approve the village meeting schedule as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Cook, seconded by Ross. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And nay. Motion carries. Holiday closings for 2023.
And those are just on per the personnel manual,
Yep.
just so we can see them in front of you.
Okay.
You're pretty good.
Yep. Wonderful. So no motion or anything needed on that. That's just per usual.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions or comments about the holiday schedule? And we'll move on to 9H, the proposed resolution 2215 for recognition of our fire chief, Pete Schul's career. And I'll go ahead and take the honor of reading this out loud to us, if you don't mind. So this is appreciation and recognition of service to our fire chief, Pete Schulz. Whereas Pete Schulz started his career with the Oxford Fire Department in February of 1976 as a paid on-call firefighter and has served the citizens of the Oxford community for more than 46 years. And whereas Pete Schulz has demonstrated unwavering dedication to the Oxford community while providing exceptional fire protection and life-saving activities to thousands of families throughout his long career. And whereas in his role as the Oxford Fire Chief, Pete Schulz has given back to our community by also volunteering on numerous boards and committees, including the Village of Oxford Downtown Development Authority. And whereas Pete Schultz has fostered positive partnerships with numerous community organizations throughout Oxford and the surrounding area. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Council of Oxford, Michigan recognizes and expresses its sincere appreciation to Chief Pete Schultz for his hard work, dedication, and guidance to our Oxford community and its residents, and wishes Pete Schultz all the best in his future endeavors. I'll move that.
Support.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Bordeaux,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Cook.
Yes. And the resolution is passed, and if you don't mind coming up, Chief, we'd like
I feel
to
like it's gonna
present.
Here.
Sure, why don't you guys get one up front? That'd be a nice picture.
That'd be great, thank you.
I feel like,
Here, I'll come around. Whose phone are we using?
I'll send it to y'all.
Thank you.
My day, right, this is a great picture, right? So I'm told.
We have this certificate of appreciation for
Thank
you.
you.
I have a signed copy. of
Should we
it.
get the mic for?
Yeah, Joe, you should be in there.
Well, Terry's her too.
Yeah, I mean, does it work better if I'm kind of down and?
If we can get everybody up, I might. Tell us.
That's good, right there. Yeah. You coming in here? Sure.
Come on, Terry.
There you go, we'll scoot in, okay. There you go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And then, will you go up there?
No.
This was the question.
Okay, go up there. No, I didn't ask.
You shouldn't ask, right?
She doesn't know me as well as Allison does.
Perfect. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Chin's out.
There's an app for everything, I got you. There's an app for that.
Thank you.
I hope so.
Thank you.
I've seen you around, I hope. Oh, yeah, but not as often. Good for you.
That's true.
That's good for you.
We wanted to really make you sit through the entire meeting.
Yes.
The last one, you have to sit through the entire thing.
Should we put something on our future agendas for him every week to provide us updates?
Drawing back in.
He's gonna give the DDA updates.
Yeah, there we are.
Ooh, now he can be like chair and everything, right?
It'd be weird, he'll be in something
I'll
else.
go down and see my DDA
He's out,
report.
that'll be
I
weird.
didn't know if I told you where.
All right, number 10, we don't have anything. Number 11's public comment. Any public comment?
Thank you very much, council members. I would like to heartfully thank the entire village council, the village of Oxford, for supporting me for 46 years. It's hard to believe that I started my career right out back here in the building right here. And at that time, the building was only 2 years old when I started the department. So it's been very rewarding. Been some really, really good times, been some very sad times, some very trying times that we've been through. The entire growth that we went through between the village and the township and everything back and forth. But I think in the end, we've come up with one of the best departments practically in the state right now, and I'm very proud of that. Looking forward to, please be supportive of the new chief when he comes in. And I, again, talked to Mr. Davis, I highly recommend we need to get the fire prevention ordinance updated as quick as possible. Because we're running into some issues right now with a couple of places, and we need the authority to be able to take place. So, thank you very much again. I really agree. It was a great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Number 12, committee reports. A NODA.
We did not have a quorum, we're having a meeting tomorrow, and we've got some financials that need to be approved. And then with the transportation changes going through, there's a lot of meetings, and everything's just starting to get in place, so I don't really have updates from it yet, but it is going to, so far it's changing, like pay and things like that, in a good way, and so it's turning out to be very good so far from what I can see.
Great, thank you. Is there there a planning commission update? You said they met yesterday, was it?
Yes,
Okay,
they approved his sign,
okay.
a special sign waiver for Paramount improvement at 17 South?
Yep.
17 South.
Okay.
It's gonna be a nice looking sign, the building's beautiful, obviously, the building owner really did it nice, and then the tenants are bringing it in, good work.
Great. Thanks. All right, we'll skip the cable commission unless anyone has any information on that. And we'll move on to the DDA.
All the good, wonderful things. You probably have more than talking right now.
Come on up.
Go back and forth. I'm serious when I say all the wonderful things. There's a lot of wonderful things.
Well, we have a wonderful board. So, yeah, so we finished out our holiday markets. We gave a pretty good recap of this year and just a couple of things to highlight. The wonderful grants that we received, over $300,000 in grants this year. 17 sign and facade grants this year, which is incredible. It will be over $60,000 in grants that we gave out to the community. But yeah, we are already forming our partnership with Lake Orion to keep going through 2023, and we're gonna be kicking off Restaurant Week in January to try to support some of the restaurant downtime that they usually have in January, so wonderful things happening. What did I miss, Ashley?
Just really trying, I mean, we've already touched on it, but really trying to plan 2023. We're in a situation where we're kind of ahead of the game for the first time, but like because things have been going so well and we've been all planning, like we're able to plan more in advance. And so, looking for sponsorships for the trolley for next year, going through lots of trolley work right now, and just goal setting and trying to accomplish things in the coming year.
Yes. And we also have a certificate for Pete. Come back up. So there's a reason why I'm doing it here, not at our DDA board meeting, because you're not leaving the DDA. But we still wanted to say thank you. So this is not, I'll be honest with you, so I took this to Joe earlier and I said, for your service to the Oxford community and your continued support of the DDA, but he told me, no, don't be pushy. So I just put in the DDA board, so thank you, we appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
So we can't do it, oh here, wait, I want to get in here with him. Yay, thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
So we can't do it without Pete, especially when we have to redo the TIF plan this year, so we're making him stay. And who wants to step all the way into retirement? I mean, you know, you would drive Wendy crazy. So there's that we're talking him into staying for that. But everything else is great. I just wanted to thank all of you council members for being so supportive of the DDA. And Terry on the audit, thank you for helping me get through that and walking me through a lot of those documents. And Joe, as always, like, just love working with you guys and the whole staff, but just really appreciate the relationship that the DDA and the village have together. I just feel like the team is even stronger than last year, which is hard to believe, so we're very excited about 2023.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, Polly Trio.
Yeah, they approved their schedule, so they also are applying for local county parks grant. They won't be competing with us per se, because they're looking for a design grant. So I sent a letter out of support to Linda Brand for their efforts. There also is a William C. Sullivan or something like that grant they're applying for. They're looking to resurface the entire trail for the next couple of years. They have a few bridges that need a little work as well. And they don't have a lot of money. Their revenue, you know, it's nominal between the townships and the members and a couple villages. You know, they did some budget amendments today to wrap up their year, and it's $171,000. So what they do with that, they pay Linda not enough for all that she does. She gets volunteers. They do a lot for that kind of money. So, and you know, you've all been seen the trail. It's great shape. So they have a good board.
Yeah, great, thank you. Let me pass that to you before I forget.
Okay, thanks.
The ZBA is on, and so that's a little unusual, so they must have met.
We met sometime in the recent past. I don't think it wasn't in between our last few
No,
meetings.
I think it was Yeah.
I think it was 2 or 3, yeah. So we did meet, so we met our once a year goal. It was for, what's going to be a car wash, was it Cots Heating and Cooling? Was that the
Yeah,
right?
at one time.
Okay.
It was a lot of things over the years.
Yes, I think that was most recently. Part of it, so with the new car wash coming in, our ordinance says that the vacuum mechanism needs to be away because it's not visually appealing. However, if they put it in the back of the property, that butts up to residential. And so we approved,
Very nice.
thank you, a variance for the vacuum mechanism to be up front. It'll be kind of enclosed, not out of the way, but you're gonna have the road traffic there, and that way no future, current or future residents will be impacted by that noise, hopefully, so. Yes, and the building is completely down now.
Yes, I noticed that, and then I was wondering what was there, because you pass things sometimes. and-
Yeah. Was Oxford airbag for a lot of years?
I remember just renting a movie as a kid.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
Blockbuster or something. at one
No,
time.
it was like,
private.
it was,
Private?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And of course, somebody put out something online recently, it was a greenhouse from way, way back.
Yeah.
greenhouse.
There you go. A stone way up front, stone building.
Wow.
That was one of the items in the planning commission last night, but wasn't ready. So we got postponed till January. Hopefully it'll,
Yeah,
they have some water retention issues working on engineering.
gotcha. Good catching up. Very good. Item G, manager, clerk, and staff reports.
Terry, you want to go first?
Sure. I just want to thank the council for your support and for the cost of living. I really do enjoy working with all of you and working here with Joe and Kelly. We do have a really good team, I agree with that. So that just makes everybody's job so much easier, even though we have some ups and downs, you know, with our own areas. Overall, when those lows happen, we get some help and chocolate to help. So, you know, just thank you for that. The audit went great. I'm really grateful that you support the services that Plant Moran provides, because they are really important. It's just been such a higher level of accounting now, and reporting requirements that we really do need that level of oversight. And as the audit reported, it was, it's a good thing, and it showed, you know, to be their ace client is, I didn't know that. Yeah, so that makes us all really happy, and you can be, you know, confident in the numbers that you're getting and the reporting that you're getting, so. I think that's it.
Excellent, thank you.
I just want to say that the chief there, he's been very helpful over the years, my 5 years being here this month. Planning commission, site plan reviews and things like that, as well as general items. So we've worked with Lieutenant Franz, and he's going to be fine and great too. I've met future Chief Majestic. I've met with him a few times as well. So I think we'll be in good shape. It's just hard to transition when you have that knowledge and historical knowledge there, and the relationships. It's hard to build new ones, but of course we will. And I still think we're going to be in great hands. And thank you, Council, for your generous support. The support we get from you guys is great. Then you back it up with rewards. So that's wonderful. I really enjoy our closed sessions when we do our annual review, because it's fun, and we get to talk, and we get to lay it out, and that's great. So that's good. And other than that, I just want to say Merry Christmas, and hope everybody has a great, safe Christmas and New Year's.
You too, thank you. All right, council comments? Lori, you want to start us off?
Yeah, just want to thank Chief for all your knowledge and love of the community. It's going to be missed, and like Joe said, I'm sure we'll be in good hands, but just the same, you will definitely be missed. I would love to hear from you if you have time to talk about how we can make the fire prevention ordinance valid. At what we've done in the past, we've had difficulty seeing how we can make it work, so. Additionally, Terry and Joe, this is amazing. I knew what his answer was gonna be to my question about what we can do different, but it was, nice to hear it from him, that we are a model and meeting for what other villages should be doing and townships and that. So I am very pleased with that, and it is something that you can see on his chart where and why this change has happened, and it's you too, so thank you. And, yeah, everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and stay healthy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. I know it's only been a short time and I have some longer standing relationships with other folks, but it's always great to work with you, so thank you for all of your hard work over many years. Kudos to Terry and Joe. I'm sure Joe started, but I'm gonna also say to Terry, because I know how much
That's her.
you put into this, and I mean, for us to be in this kind of financial shape after, I think all of us are very, like, trying to, we're in WOW, but like, we've tried to pinch pennies and come up with things, and you've made it feasible for us to be able to do the things that we all want to do that our community needs, and thank you for that. Other than that, happy holidays.
Well, thank you for everything you've done, and hearing you talk about white shirt meetings a long time ago, and then I ended up being at the white shirt meetings. It was quite the turn, but thank you a lot, and I'm sure I'm still going to text you random things. And I'm sure we're all still going to be, when that pipe was put in there in the 80s, why and where, why can't we find the paperwork? So your institutional memory will be missed. Yes, the audit is absolutely wonderful. Echo Ashley and Lori's sentiments. So thank you, and I know that's a huge, I'm sure you're ready to enjoy your holidays with that being over now.
Yeah, thanks. I'll just echo everyone's sentiments too. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Wendy, as well. So behind every great man is an even better woman. So we appreciate you. So, and thanks to our manager and clerk and treasurer for always doing exceptional work. So we really appreciate you, and I'm glad you can feel that from us. So it's great. And props to Kelly as always too. You just rocked the DDA and have brought our downtown is the way it is now because of you. I truly believe that. You have a great board to support you, but you're the leader in our community. So I see that. I think everybody sees that. So fantastic job. So
We got called home, Mark, a bunch of times this Christmas, and I cried a whole time. Somebody said that we were all marked out.
with that, is there any further comments from council?
There's no red papers.
Okay, I'll move to adjourn at 8:15. That's record timing, really.
Second.